Welcome to Ideagen TV. Today, we are thrilled to have with us award-winning global chef, Maria Lowy. Chef Lowy, welcome.
Thank you.
You know, Maria, it's always barakalo. We are always so excited each and every day with the thousands of interviews we've done to bring in folks like you that are leading globally and have so much impact on everything that's happening on the planet. In your case, especially exciting and true. And so, how did your journey to celebrity chef status come about? And what, Maria, was your first and original inspiration for pursuing this culinary career?
Well, first of all, I have to tell you that I've watched all the Ideagen interviews. If I don't go directly, I watch them at night when I go home.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Really, my career, I never really pursued a culinary career, okay? But I always cooked. In my previous life, I was a lobbyist for big companies like Sheraton, Nokia, Texaco, but it was not. I was not the person that I wanted to be, you know. So, and I decided to make a change after reading a poem by Constantine Cavafy, As Much as You Can. And after reading that, I immediately changed my life. I went back to my roots, reading and writing, researching and cooking, and the rest, it's history, of course. So I cannot say, what really changed me, why I went to that career. I really don't know. It was inside me, and it still is.
Wow. Well, that's the best type of inspiration. It's authentic and impactful because you have that passion to bring forth everything that you're doing. And so I'd like to pivot a bit. I mean, we're in this, the middle of this global pandemic. You're in New York, and we've all seen how New York, stayed, resilient during such an incredibly difficult time with this global pandemic, and especially the restaurant industry. I mean, at the same time, the restaurant industry has been evolving at such a fast pace especially with technology. And so as this industry evolves at this rapid pace, how have you and your restaurants been able to adapt and change to stay relevant?
Well, first of all, being Greek and having philotimo, and I have the courage, to go one step ahead in my life and face whatever it comes my head on, as you say in America, okay? From the very first days of the pandemic, I watched the Greek news. The Prime Minister, Mr. Sifakis, and the whole Greek government did a great job. So I was getting all the information every day. So when we shut down, I was ready to go.
Wow. So yeah, you've been getting this information and you were ready to go. And I think, that's part of being resilient. A resilient business, while not being able to be prepared for everything, can survive if you're planning. You're always planning for that day when things don't go as perhaps your business plan dictated, that you have options, that you've built, a system that is malleable in some way, where you're able to go in a different direction on a moment's notice. Because if you can't, it's very difficult to survive, especially through what is this global pandemic. So given this global pandemic,
Exactly.
Given this global pandemic, how have you and your colleagues actually been able to adapt? And what are your plans to get back to what we all know is normal, or the new normal, or the previous normal? What are you looking at for the future of the industry, and specifically of your restaurants?
Well, as I said before, we were ready. My team and I, I had modified a menu ready to go from the very first day of the shutdown. So we were delivering not only to our customers, but also we cooked for the doctors, nurses, homeless. We did over 6,000 meals, and we're still doing it because coronavirus is still here. As of my colleagues, most of them have shut down, and I hope they can open again. But, we have extended actually our restaurant outside on the street, and as our customers, they say they like it so much, and they think that they are on an island in Greece and not on 58th Street in Manhattan. So, and I have to tell you something else. They want to continue this for the next years as well, to be like this, exactly the same, with flowers, the tables outside, and I believe something great for the future has come out of this solution that we have.
That's right, and I think being able to bring in innovation, especially in an industry that is evolving again so quickly, it's incredible. Online ordering, the online reservation systems, all of these things are so critical to the survival of a business, and the ability to adapt. If you're able to have, for example, in your case, outdoor seating, which, as you know, is not allowed everywhere. So working with the local governments to say, well, look, this is a different time. How do they help? It's great to hear that in New York City, they're allowing you to do that, to have outdoor seating during this time to allow you to service your customers as well. And so pivoting a bit, you have had some incredible opportunities, Maria, to be able to cook for very important people, for members of the community. You, at one point, actually had an opportunity to cook for the president and his guests. And so I'd like to ask you, what was that like? I mean, how different is it to cook for someone that has so many layers of security, and especially, obviously, with food being a key component of security? Were there extra steps involved in that process?
Well, cooking for President Obama and Vice President Biden and their guests, was an amazing experience for me, and which I will never forget. There was no extra steps, actually. There was no need for that, because both in the White House, the executive chef of the White House, Cristela Comfort, and the pastry chef, Bill Yossis, made me feel so welcome. It was like I was in my kitchen, my own kitchen. So it was no problem at all. I don't know. That's how I felt.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. And so, moving to other so you have so many accomplishments. Obviously, we could go on and on, but one that I think particularly stands out for our global audience is that your cookbook was the official cookbook of the 2004 Athens Olympic Games. What was the process of determining, it's obviously difficult to select which recipe makes it into this cookbook and which one doesn't, which is probably even more difficult. I'd love to hear for our audience what went into developing that book, and which recipes made it and didn't, and why.
Well, my cookbook, the Ancient Dining, was a lot of fun to research and write. It was difficult to find recipes as we know them today. There were no really recipes over there. But because I had such a passion for reading ancient Greek books like Odyssey, Iliad, I was able to create recipes from, the dishes described in the text. So I chose the recipes that I loved, actually, and the more simple ones that people could cook anytime, because they don't want to read just the history in that book. They want to make the recipes. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said, how my friends, they will take that to be easy. So that's why I've chosen the recipes that I love and easy to cook.
Easy to cook. I think most people can relate to wanting more recipes that are easy to cook. And shifting a bit, Maria, I know that you're personally and professionally passionate about sustainability. And how do you fit sustainability into your kitchen when you're cooking? And is it, for example, is it a factor in picking produce or the cooking itself?
Sustainability is a huge part, in my kitchen, and in the whole restaurant, actually. My team and I, we believe in ethical sustainability, traceable sourcing of ingredients. It doesn't matter if we produce, fish, everything. And by using healthful methods of cooking them. Because you can have something that is organic, but if you destroy by cooking it, it's the same thing. The sustainability goes away.
That's right. That's right. And so staying on the theme of sustainability, at Ideagen, we are focused constantly on developing and creating awareness for the 17 global goals of the UN to help to connect the dots around connecting global leaders to achieve the goals by 2030. Maria, what would be your 3 pieces of advice, the 3 key pieces of advice that you would provide in order to help achieve these 17 global goals?
So for me, first of all, we should respect ourselves and then the people next to us. We can change the food industry, so which will affect the change in the health industry, which positively change the economy. And so the world will change with one healthy bite at a time, as I say.
Oh my gosh, one healthy bite at a time. That's incredible. And so which of the 17 global goals would you like to see achieved and why?
Well, I would like to see all of them achieved because it would make the world a better place. But if I had to choose, I think we should work really hard to achieve goal number 12, I think. It's number 12. Responsible consumption and production. Specifically, to cut food waste by half immediately. To achieve this, we must practice and teach sustainability to reduce food loss and in production and consumption.
That's such a good point. Imagine the amount of food waste. I mean, you are keenly aware of what happens in the restaurant industry and how much food is actually wasted. That's just in the industry. And we're not even referring to how much food is wasted in homes across the world. And so I think that brings up a very, very good point. And so have you ever thought about cooking as a job, or has it always been a passion? I know you started with talking about, the passion you have for cooking. Has it been always a passion for you?
Yes. So, but for me, cooking is not a job. It is a passion, It's a way of life. I cannot think that I work. And I feel actually very lucky because I made, my hobby into my career. And I love it so much, like people can see it on my face that I am so happy, and I wish everyone could do this.
Yeah, and because when you're working, you will never work. When you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, is what they say.
Exactly.
So it sounds to me like that's living the dream. You seem to be living the dream, and that's awesome. And a very inspiring message for the millions of people that will see this interview on Ideagen TV. I think it's very important for that authenticity which you've displayed today, the authenticity of this conversation, your belief in achieving the goals, and your passion for the work that you do as a celebrity chef. You are a celebrity chef. I know you don't like to talk about it, but you are. You're a celebrity chef, and you've earned it. And so, Maria, I'd like to ask you, what is your post-summit ask for our global audience, literally across the planet, as we continue to change the world, what would you ask this audience to do?
So speaking across the planet, like you said, to change the world, we all need to think globally and act locally. So we need to pay it forward, be kind, be philanthropic, and remember that our actions affect other people. So we live in a global community and need to respect each other and ourselves, and we can change the world together. Change our diet, okay? Eat organic, sustainable, traceable, ethical foods, and we'll see the difference. It could, you could see really immediately the change, and we can change the world.
That's incredible. And I agree. And so how can folks learn more about the work that you're doing?
Well, at chefmarialoy.com.
There you go.
Actually, I like my Loy Estiatorio.
Okay.
www.loyestiatorio.com.
Okay. So we've heard it here. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for all you're doing to change the world. And for those of you that are in Manhattan or will be in Manhattan, you might want to visit Loy Estiatorio, which is one of the best Greek restaurants on the planet Earth. Right, Maria?
Well, yes, I would say it's the best.
On that note, thank you. Thank you for all you're doing to change the world. Ideagen TV, presented globally by Microsoft. Thank you.
This copyrighted Ideagen telecast is presented by Ideagen Global. It may not be reproduced, rebroadcasted, or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Ideagen Global. The views expressed by guests and guest hosts on Ideagen programming are their own, and their appearance on Ideagen programming does not represent an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.